is active. Most of the women in the New Testament are passive.
They behave themselves according to the people.
So, but
Who,
at the end of this parasha, we get the rest of the descendants. We get Isaac dies, Rachel dies, Isaac dies, Esau comes back with Jacob to bury him, I believe, in Machpelah. And then you talk about the descendants of Esau. The first one is Edom, which is the red people. So they're not necessarily friends to the Israelites after that. And then there are all the offsprings of Esau.
But then they show that God does keep his promise to make Ishmael also a large tribe.
at what point do they begin to refer to Jacob as Israel?
Right there.
Right there, and then from then on, he's not called Jacob anymore?
No, they go back and forth, but that's when his name is given.
35:9. God appeared to Jacob again when he came from Paddan Aram, and he blessed it. Then God said to him, your name is Jacob, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel shall be your name. And he called his name Israel. And God said to them, I'm El Shaddai, be fruitful and multiply. Go get laid, guys. I mean, God's a little Randian in this instance. So what are we doing at Temple?
Yeah, I see a shadow.
He's putting
Okay,
on
here
his
we go.
jacket. He's putting on his jacket. Next will be the Atara. There he is. Hello, Cantor with a bow tie.
Bow ties are cool.
He looks like a bow tie. And we can hear him.
Good morning. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
You hear me okay?
Shabbat Shalom. Perfect.
You're
Good.
booming.
I get a thumbs up?
You're booming.
All right.
It's boomy. It's very boomy. Do you have the other microphone out?
Morning, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Our service is going to begin with the singing of Moda Ani, found on page 186.
Who all's there with you?
Moda Ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam, shehechezarta b'nishmati b'chemla. Behemla, Rabba Emunatecha, Rabba Emunatecha, Modehani lefanecha, Melechai v'kayam, Shehechezarta B'nishmati b'chemla, b'chemla, Rabba emunatecha, Rabba emunatecha. Page 192. Ma tovu Ohalecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu Ohalecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Page 194. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well known before your throne of glory that if one of them be wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure and stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh, working wondrously. Baruch atah Adonai, rofei chol basar, umafli la'asot. Page 196. Elohai nishama shenatata b'tehorahi. 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 We continue on page 198 with the Nasim B'chol Yom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasach v'bina l'havkin ben yom u'ben layla. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sokev kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten layaf koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir sheina me'enai u'noma me'afapai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani b'tselem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani ben chorim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav. V'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to engage with words of Torah. Elu devarim she'ein lahem shior, she'adam ochel b'toreihem. These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. Our service continues with the singing of Psalm 150. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. We're on page 218. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kohan Shema to hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kohan Shema to hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kohan Shema to hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kohan Shema to hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We continue on page 224. Yekada v'yekada shmei rabba v'yomad v'rach eritei v'yamnich malchutei B'chayachon uvyom echon uv'chayed po beit Yisrael Bagala uvizman kari ve'yimeru Amen. Yehesh me rabba mivarach le'olam ulamei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithada v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'riku nahela mikol berchata b'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiram be'alma ve'yimeru. Amen. We rise for our Barhu and its prayers. We rise on page 226. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Leholam, Leholam Vaed. Page 228. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvarei choshech, oseh shalom uvarei et hakol, hameir la'aretz v'la'arim aleha barachamim, uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita, mola ha'aretz kinyanecha, kitbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shavach ma'aseh yadecha. All me'orei or sha'asita yifa'arucha sela, or chadash al tzion ta'ir, v'nizkeh chulanu meheira la'oro, Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'me'orot. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Page 231. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said. And like blinded, we saw that inner and outer worlds are one. As you are one, you spoke and we wrote, we reached for you down the centuries. Your light moving before us as we climbed, fell back and climbed again. Your Sinai of life. Baruch atah Adonai, abocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. We continue on page 234. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha v'hayu hadavarim ha'efe asher anochi mitzavacha hayom al levavcha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham v'shivtecha v'veitecha uv'lachtecha v'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumhecha uv'shartam le'ohot ha'yadecha v'hayu letotafohot beinenecha uv'tavtam ha'mizuzot beitecha uv'isharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'elokechem ani Adonai Elokechem, asher hotzeiti atchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'elohim, ani Adonai Elokechem. Page 239, we read responsively. The eternal truth is that you alone are God, and there is none else. Together, may the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exalt in your justice. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war anymore. You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart. The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor, asks God. We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy. Praise to God Most High, blessed is God, and deserving of blessing. Mi kamocha b'helim Adonai, mi kamocha neda b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele, shira chadasha, shibahu kehulim l'shimcha, osfat hayam. Yachad kulam hodu v'kim liku ve'yam heru Adonai imloch leholam vahed. Rock of Israel, rise in support of Israel and redeem Judah and Israel as you promised. Our Redeemer Adonai Tzavot is your name. Blessed are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. We continue on page 242 and we rise. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Velohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imohot, U'mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, L'mhan Shemo B'ahava, Melech Osel Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Be'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol atah Rag L'Hoshia, Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayei Hakol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato, L'Shenei Afar, Mikamocha B'Al Gevurot, U'Mido Mehilach, Melech Meimitu Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'neim Hanatah L'Chayot Hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh Hakol. We continue on page 248. Nekadesh et Shimcha ba'olam, Kishem Shemak Deshim Oto Bishmei Madon, Hakatuv Hayad Niviecha, V'Karazel Zed Ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivaot, Meloch Kol Haaretz, Kevodo, Adir Hadirenu Adonai Adonenu, Mahadir Shimcha B'Kol Haaretz, Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkomo, Echad Hu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu Ve'Hu Yashmienu, Berachamav Le'nei Kol Chai, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai Le'olam, Elohai Tzion, Ledor Vador, Hallelujah, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ונצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל HaKadosh. Please be seated. Page 250. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed. Page 252, pardon me. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu ritzei v'minuchatenu. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth, and in your gracious love, Adonai our God, grant us your holy Shabbat as a heritage. May Israel, who sanctifies your name, rest on Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Ritzei, page 254. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael u'tfilatam be'ahava tikabel. Uti l'ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. El karov l'chol kor'av v'nei el avadecha v'chonenu shefoch ruchacha aleinu. Page 256. Modim anachnu lach she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu le'olam va'ed. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai our God and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives, the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in truth, in you. We continue on page 258 for our prayer for peace. Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Sim shalom, sim shalom. Grant peace, goodness, and blessing, grace, kindness, and mercy to us and all your people Israel. Bless us, our Creator, all of us together through the light of your presence. Truly, through the light of your presence, Adonai our God, you gave us a Torah of life, the love of kindness, justice, and blessing, mercy, life, and peace. May you see fit to bless your people Israel at all times, at every hour, with your peace. Baruch atah Adonai hamavarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Page 260. My God, guard my speech from evil and my lips from deception. Before those who slander me, I will hold my tongue. I will practice humility. Open my heart to your Torah, that I may pursue your mitzvot. As for all who think evil of me, cancel their designs and frustrate their schemes. Act for your own sake, for the sake of your power, for the sake of your holiness, for the sake of your Torah, so that your loved ones may be rescued. Save your power and answer me. We'll take a moment for some silent meditation. Imre fi והגיוני לפניך, אדוני צור וגואלי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. We turn in our prayer book to page 371, our prayer for healing. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. Laura D. Christina, Ann Friedman, Vern Granston, Betty Heller, and Joel Webb. If there are other names that you'd like to have mentioned, please share them now.
David Friedman.
Please join me in our prayer for healing. Misheberach Avotenu Bekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Bekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We continue with Seder Kriyat HaTorah for this Shabbat, reading of the Torah on this blessed Shabbat morning, page 364, and we rise. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udavar Adonai Yerushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Kadu Adonai Iti, Urom Shemo, Shemo Yachdav. Lo Yisagoy El Goy Terev, Lo Yomadu Od Milkama, Lo yisagoy el koherev, lo yomadu od milchama. 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 Please be seated. Our Torah portion this morning is from Vayishlach, from the book of Genesis, Breshit. And for those who happen to have a Plaut open, Plaut Chumash, we're on page 221. Do you have the Plaut Chumash there? I didn't. That's the green one. It's not going to be page 221, but that's okay. I'll explain it. But if you find Vayishlach, and Matt, we're on in Genesis chapter 33, verse 1, if you'd like to find it there. And we are at a very dramatic part in our story. Jacob has been through a lot, and now he's coming to grips with a moment with his twin brother Esau, who many years ago, over 20 years previous, he had done some devious things to his brother. He took he masqueraded as his brother Esau, and his father gave him the blessing that was meant for Esau, and Jacob took that. Jacob really, with his mother, did not do a very nice thing. And relationships, let's just say, between Esau and Jacob did not end well. And in the meantime, Esau takes off, and we hear from Jacob that he spent many years with his uncle Laban, who Laban wasn't very nice to Jacob either, who kept promising him that he could marry his daughter, but you have to work for 7 years, and then another 7 years. You know, what Jacob did to his brother Esau was so not nice that sometimes when people do a wrong thing, some people will say, you know what, goes around, comes around. You know that statement? And there are other ways when people have done well, somehow they're going to pay for their mistakes. And I think Jacob was thinking that because he heard that his brother, his estranged brother Esau, was nearby. And he's not sure if he should meet Esau. And he's kind of, he's thinking about what to do. So he wants to know what's going on with Esau. What does his flock look like? Because Jacob actually did pretty well after he left Laban. He's got a lot of animals. He's living a fairly good life. And he hears that Esau is not too far away. He sends some scouts out, really messengers. And he tries to tell the messengers, please tell Esau that I'm nearby. And the message he was trying to give to Esau was like, look, you know, I want to meet you under the best of circumstances. You're just the best person I know. And he didn't say that in the Torah, but he's trying to massage him. Hopefully he'll forget what he did to his brother several decades earlier. And the messengers come back and they say, well, guess what? Esau's got an army of 400 men. And Jacob does not have anything like that. So now he's really, really nervous. And so nervous that when he goes to sleep that night, well, then we have those 5 verses where Jacob wrestles with somebody. Was it a strange man? Was it an angel? And he wrestles with this angel, wrenches out his hip, and his name changes from Jacob to Israel. It's really a big moment in our Torah history where Jacob is now Israel. And now he wakes up, and now he's going to have the moment where he's going to come face to face with his brother. He has no idea what's going to happen. And you know what? Esau greets him, believe it or not, with his arms open and gives him a hug, an embrace, and kisses him. And this is the verse that I'm going to be chanting starting at 33, verse 1. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavarach. Baruch Adonai havarach le'olam vahed. Baruch Adonai havarach le'olam vahed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Vayisa Yaakov einav vayira v'hinei sabah v'himo arba me'ot ish vayachatz et ha'yeladim al Leah ve'al Rachel ve'al shetei hashefachot vayasem et hashefachot vet yeladehen Rishona vet Leah viladeha acharonim vet Rachel et Yosef acharonim vehu avar lifnehem vayishtahu arza shehava pahamim ad gishtoho ad achihi vayarotz Esav likrato vayechabekehu vayipol al tzevarahav vayishakehu vayivku. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata b'tokeinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. And what's very interesting about this last line that I chanted is that if you were to have the Plaut Chumash open, or if you were looking at the Tikkun, and as we discussed in our Torah study this morning, the Torah portion, the word for verse 4 for kiss, when Esau kissed him, Vayishakehu, is interesting in what's noted in the Chumash or in a Tikkun. Now, as you know, in a Tikkun, we will see one side of the Torah with no vowels and another side with all the vowels and the trope marks telling me how to chant from the Torah. But whenever something shows in the Torah that looks a little different, when the Torah has spacing that looks different, or if there is a letter that's a little smaller or a little bigger, or if words that are repeated, it's something that the Torah is telling us this is a highlight. And so what I wanted to show, and I'm going to step off the bima for just a second to show the people that are here what I'm talking about.
Again with the
So
dots.
in the Hebrew, if you don't read Hebrew, see these 6 dots here?
Again with the
Those
dots, he's
are
going.
very unusual. We don't see those anywhere in the Hebrew. See these 6 dots? Yes. See that? It's very unusual. What does it mean, those 6 dots? And so there's interesting commentary of what those 6 dots mean. Some say maybe when Esau was kissing his brother Jacob, that maybe he wasn't really fully embracing him. He wasn't really doing it with his full heart. Someone even suggested maybe those are indicating of bite marks. Oh my goodness. Yes, I've heard that before. I'm going to go for myself. It's probably not true, but I'm going to say that the 6 little marks means he kissed him 3 times on this left side and 3 times on the right side. But I'm sure there are some deeper meanings. I'm telling you, a psychoanalyst would have a field day in trying to figure out what this all means. You have any suggestions out here what that could mean? Matt, have you ever noticed that before? Have you ever seen that? See, he's heard the bite thing. See, I'm not so meshugana, but no, it's not a vampire type moment in the Torah, but it's interesting to note all those kind of wonderful things to discuss in this fascinating Torah portion here in the book of Genesis. We rise as we honor the Torah. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael api Adonai b'yad Moshe. Yadadai dai dai dai, yadadai dai yadadai, yadadai dai 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 yadadai yadadai, yadadai dai dai dai, yadadai dai yadadai dai 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 yadadai dai dai, yadadai dai dai, yadadai dai dai, Please be seated. Our Haftorah portion from Hosea, chapter 11, verse 7. The rabbis connected the story of Jacob wrestling a stranger with the way Hosea used that story to show that the kingdom of Israel had gone astray and must return to God. He calls the northern kingdom Ephraim because its first king, Jeroboam, was from the tribe of Ephraim. God mourns, how can I give you up, Ephraim? How can I let you go, O Israel? Like Jacob, the kingdom of Israel must turn back to God. Hold fast to the steady love and justice and wait constantly for your God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratzah v'direihem hanehemarim b'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'v'Moshe abdo Uv Yisrael amo, uvinviei hamet vatzetek. V'ami teluim lim shuvati ve'al yikra'uhu yachad lo yeromeim. Etencha Ephraim, Amagencha Yisrael, Etencha Chachadma, Asimacha Kitzovahim, Nepach Alai Livi, Yachad Nichmeru. Nimchuma lo eseh charon api lo ashu l'shachet Ephraim ki yahel anochi v'lo hish bekir becha kadosh v'lo avo be'yir acharei Adonai yelechu B'ke arye yishad, kihu yishad, v'yechredu vanim mayim, yecherdu chetzipor mimitzrayim, uch yonah me'eretz ashur, v'hoshavtihim al betehem ne'um Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sur kol haolamim tzaddik b'chol hadorot ha'el ha'neheman ha'omer v'oseh ha'medaber u'mekayim shekol devarav emet v'tzedek all ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu Likdusha v'limnucha, lekavod u'tifaret, all hakol, Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim la, u'mevarchim otah, yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai, tamid leolam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. We continue on page 377 for a prayer for the state of Eretz Yisrael. Sha'alu shalom Yerushalayim yishlayu ohavayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Together we say, Amen. We rise. Page 375. God's Torah is perfect, reviving the soul. God's teaching is sure, making wise the simple. God's precepts are right, delighting the mind. God's mitzvot are clear, giving light to the eyes. God's words pure, enduring forever. God's judgments are true, and altogether just. We remain standing for the Aleinu on page 586. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon ha'kol, l'tei kidulah v'yotzer b'reshi, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'ratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishtachot ha'adama, shelo sam kalkeinu k'ahem, v'glor aleinu k'kol ha'olam, v'na'achnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'lotim, lifnei melech, Mokeh HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Please be seated. Page 589. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye, who may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech kol haaretz v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Page 595. There are stars up above. As far away, we only see their light. Long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with the people that we love. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. This blessed Shabbat morning, we are in a period of Shiva for Dr. Richard John Wakeman, period of Shloshim for Alfred Hiller, Sharon Weiner, Sylvan Julian Steinberg. The yard sites we remember for this morning: Rosa Portnoy Adler, Lucille G. Bernstein, Jacob Bloom, Sidney E. Blumenthal, Annette Braun, Max Braun, Babette Grinsfelder Esselman, Benjamin Brooks Fendler, Harold Fisher, Dr. Ben Friedman, Frank Fiedler Sr., Helene G. Gottschalk, Dr. Harry B. Greenberg, Amelia R. Gutman, Miriam Paylette Katz, Mickey Lakin, Esther Otto Ladder, Benjamin F. Lengsfield, Nathan Ralph Levine, Henry Levy, Clarette Braun Lowy, Jack P. Marks, Samuel Sidney Myers, Rebecca Apatowski, Dr. Max Rosenberg, Henry Lazard Rosenfeld, Florence Runkel Roth, Leon H. Shirk, Richard Schornstein Sr., Arthur Roy Seelig, Joseph M. Schroeder, Ruth Wampold Steiner, Hannah Bloom Stern, Dr. Samuel Sternberg, Fanny Meyer Wolf, Louis Zellman. We rise for our Kaddish prayer found on page 598. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, v'yamad v'rach eritei v'yamlik mochutei, v'chayachonu v'yamechon v'chayeh d'kol beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kariv v'yamru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah v'varach, v'yolam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitmaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudisha b'riku, v'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, Tushpachata v'nechemata damiram be'alma ve'emru amen. Yehei shlomo rabba mishmaya v'chayim. Aleinu ve'akol Yisrael ve'emru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'akol Yisrael ve'emru amen. Ve'emru, ve'emru, ve'emru amen. Ve'emru, ve'emru. Ve'emru, amen. Well, just a few announcements. Of course, this week we have our Thanksgiving celebration next Thursday, but we also have an interfaith Thanksgiving program service being held at Trinity Church on Jackson on Tuesday evening. And then, believe it or not, starting on November 28th, we have the celebration of Hanukkah. Wow, it's coming up soon. It's hard to believe Hanukkah in November. That's okay with me. Actually, it comes on the same date every time, the 25th day of Kislev. But with our calendar here, it changes. But Sunday night, we start Hanukkah. We are going to be having a celebration of Hanukkah on the Avenue on a Friday night in that first week in December. Also, that same weekend at the St. Louis Cathedral, we're going to have a service there celebrating Hanukkah down in the quarter. I believe that will be Sunday at 4:30. And then, of course, that previous Friday will be Shabbat Hanukkah on the Avenue right behind me. And they are making sure that all our menorah lights, which are turned on electronically, will be turning on for that celebration in another week.
There's a Hanukkah at the Riverwalk on Sunday, the 28th at 4:30 too. But you can't hear us. Can't, or can you hear us?
Service with our Kiddush. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לתודותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתודותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתודותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתודותם ברית עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הכפן. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And I invite everyone to take yourself off mute. I'm going to do that here. Not you. You don't need to be taken off mute because you're right
Who
here.
else there?
And everyone could say hello to each other.
Who else
Shabbat
is there?
shalom.
How you doing, Martin?
Thank you. I'm good. Shabbat
Glad to
shalom,
hear.
everyone.
Thank you.
Shalom.
I'm sorry, Marion.
I have to
Next-
check-
next
I have
week
to
we're off,
move
you know.
my audio to another speaker so I could hear
We are?
everybody.
Yeah, next week we're off. Cantor, who's in the building with you?
Are you all talking?
We
Yeah.
are. Yes.
To
Can't
you.
hear you here.
We can't. We're trying to talk to you.
Say hi.
Hi.
There we go.
So wait, next week I don't need to log in?
Right.
Okay.
As far as I know, Friday night, there's going to be services. Saturday night, there's not going to be Torah study or services unless
Yeah.
we revolt and come together on our own.
All right.
There we go. Anyway,
Hello,
I'm gonna come
Cantor.
right back. I want to say hi to some of the people here, okay?
Turn the camera around. Who's there?
Who's there with you?
Just a second.
Have them come up. Hello, people in the temple.
I didn't know they had, because when I tried to log in to come in today, Saturday wasn't even offered as an option.
You got the wrong thing, because on the events of Sinai, Saturday was there, Friday was there, Torah study was there, the whole schmear.
But this
Right
time,
in.
that one I clicked on the events page, on the email, and it's the only thing it offered was Friday.
I'm telling you, you got the wrong email. You gotta go back and look.
I usually have success on the website, just the regular temple website. They
Yeah.
usually have.
In this particular case, I tried both, so
Oh,
it
good
wasn't
to see you, Marion.
good to see.
We had fun this morning. Martin, you got to start.
That
coming
was
to Torah study.
fun. That really was.
Talked about
Maybe
race.
we should do that every week while they're transitioning. I
Well,
mean, whenever
yeah.
you're here, Bill.
Folks, say hi to Matt, who was here with us
Hello,
this
Matt.
morning.
Oh, Matt. From
Welcome.
where?
Matt gets extra points. He drove in from Desterham.
Kol hakavod.
So anyways, listen, have a wonderful weekend. Happy Thanksgiving. Shabbat shalom.
All right. I'm checking out. Shabbat shalom.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, Martin. Good to see
Hello,
you.
Martin.
Thank you, Cantor. Yishakah.
It was
Thank you,
great
Bill.
today, Cantor.
Thank you, Janice. Marion,
you had a lot of
Shabbat
fun.
shalom.
Bye, shalom.
Very good.
We carried on without you and really got to the heavy duty porn.
Oh, good. And there was no fighting?
Among us, no.
No? Okay.
No, I practice Shalom by it. Oh, you didn't thank the flowers people.
I didn't have those notes here.
I know you got to start bringing them, even if you don't bring the flowers. You got to thank people. You never know who's listening.
Right.
Right on Facebook, right on live stream. Who can't talk to us? All right, call it kabod. Thanks, Cantor. Talk to you later.
All right.
Thank you, Bill.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody.
You too. Bye.
Bye. trying to leave.